I'm indifferent towards the occult.
And I love it.
As we explore the haunted side of New Orleans,
A room filled with haunted dolls.
brush elbows with vampires, and discover voodoo.
Let's see if we can turn this skeptic into a believer. We're going to go on a ghost tour later tonight, but next we're going to a haunted museum.
Not only does this museum have haunted artifacts, but the actual museum itself is haunted.
I'm so excited! Like, that is the creepiest looking doll. I don't like that at all. It doesn't get much creepier than a room filled with haunted dolls. According to the self-guided tour that they have here, they have 13 different ghosts in this building. The last stop on this tour takes you to Zach and Addie, who are two of the ghosts here, and fairly recent ghosts as well. It's a very tragic story I had no idea of, and it makes it much creepier when you go upstairs, because that's where there was a murder-suicide.
Zach and Addie lived upstairs in the direct aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, and they got into a fight, and Zach strangled Addie. He killed himself by jumping off a building after he killed her.
Now their spirits haunt this museum.
My skeptic meter is not moving much. It's fascinating to look at all these artifacts, but if I'm not going to have a personal experience, I won't really be convinced until something like that happens.
Vampires are also apparently prevalent in New Orleans, and we met a lady at the Haunted Museum who told us herself that vampires are real. Not sure about that one, but there are some vampiric spots here in New Orleans in the French Quarter that we're going to see. This looks kind of creepy already.
You can get a locally made wooden stake.
What are your thoughts on vampires? Real? Fake?
Definitely fake. I mean, that's something I can't even entertain the idea of existing. There's just no way. I got their signature blood bag drink. This is a pomegranate lemonade spiked with vodka. It's pretty good. Tastes a lot better than blood would. So they're good. They're yummy. I wouldn't say they're worth $7 though. It's kind of steep for how small these bats are. Glad I got the experience though.
Dark chocolate in the shape of a bat. We just finished our meal and they gave us these little vampire bite stickers. I don't think I'm going to walk around with that, but it's a nice touch. For the next 2 hours, we are doing all things voodoo. We are going to the Voodoo Museum here in New Orleans, and for 1 hour, we're going to tour the museum. And then for the second hour, we're supposed to do a walking tour of New Orleans that features various voodoo locations here in the city.
I'm really looking forward to this tour. I mean, the only thing I know about voodoo is what I've seen in movies, which probably isn't a super accurate portrayal. So I'm looking to learn about the history of voodoo.
Our tour guide, Dr. Crow, was very informative of voodoo, and we did learn a lot.
I did really appreciate how he talked about misconceptions of voodoo, like how it's portrayed in Hollywood, and that's not real voodoo.
Yeah, I think a big thing we took away from it is voodoo is not a religion. It's just more of like a way of life where you're relying more on planets, the earth, crystals, things like that to guide your life and ground yourself rather than like a deity. I didn't know we'd actually be able to like go to Marie Laveau's house. Because Marie Laveau used to be a hairdresser, a lot of people leave hair ties and stuff on her former house. I think that's pretty cool. Now, in terms of the walking tour, I thought it was going to be more about locations in New Orleans with voodoo significance, but it really kind of turned more into like a music tour.
It was kind of funny though. We'd go to a statue of a famous jazz musician and he'd be like, oh, you all know this one. And he would pick up his cane and go, doo 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 doo. You just start doing the song.
These cyber trucks. Okay. I was
That's wild.
distracted.
That's the second time I've seen the Cybertruck in New Orleans.
We regrouped at the end when we went to the ancestor tree in Congo Square.
I will say, I think the Voodoo tour made me a little less of a skeptic, only because our tour guide explained it in a way that kind of makes sense. Like, Voodoo is very grounded in the world around us. I could actually kind of see where he was coming from when he described it like that.
I have never done this before in my life, and this is kind of a spontaneous decision, but I am going to get a tarot card reading. Never done it. Kind of skeptical of it. I'm open to it though. This place was just calling my name, so we'll see. And basically tarot cards are supposed to give you insight into your past, present, and future. Just randomly pull cards and then explain the meaning of them to you and how it relates to your life. So it's up to you how you want to interpret it, but I am actually very nervous to do this. I don't know what she's gonna say. Oh my gosh. I will say, I was trying to not give her a lot of info to work off of just because I've never done this before and I wasn't sure what to expect. But I think she hit a lot of things pretty head on for me. The theming there was about like this project that I'm working on and this idea of like starting a new chapter and that I'm on the right path. I'm gonna like think about it, but I did buy a candle. She was like, you should manifest things and when you do, burn this candle. So I thought, why not? What do I have to lose? Maybe I got suckered into a $20 candle and maybe it'll change my life. Holy, a real pirate right here in New Orleans. He's everywhere. Arr. We are passing through Pirate's Alley, followed by a pirate, oddly enough. There's a lot of lore and speculation about why it's called Pirate's Alley. I guess people claim that this is a place where pirates would hang out. But in reality, there was a dungeon and a church nearby, so people do not think pirates would be hanging out in this area, but the name stuck. I will say, it smells like pirates have been here.
Take a right on Royal Street.
It smells like pee.
Things are about to get spooky.
We are finally about to do a ghost tour in New Orleans, which was like the number one thing on my list to do here. We're doing it with the Ghost Adventures, Haunted Tours, something like that. And what is kind of funny about their website is they were throwing shade at other companies, basically saying like, this is a ghost tour based upon history by historians. And even on the website, it says something like, not people dressed up in costume like a drunken pirate or something like that.
I appreciate what they're trying to do because I'm tired of like cheesy ghost tours where the stories are like something you'd hear around a campfire.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think you will see a ghost?
No, but I hope I do.
Okay. I've never seen so many other ghost tours happening at the same time. That was a fun tour. I think it was one of the most casual tours we've ever done. There was a break in between where things got really casual.
I feel like the tour was very unique to New Orleans because the break we took was outside of a bar and people went in to get drinks and, it's New Orleans, so you can just walk around with drinks in your hands. It's all cool and casual here.
But the big question is, what are your thoughts after like a whole day of doing occult things? Are you more open to it? Still a skeptic?
I mean, I would like to be open to it, but I'm still highly skeptical.
Did anything change your mind about any of the topics from today?
I think of all the tours we did today, the Voodoo tour I found the most fascinating. It kind of got me thinking about spirituality and, things that we can't necessarily see in this life.
I'll take it. I didn't expect you to be a complete believer, but
Yeah.
I will definitely take it.
Join us next time as we try to do everything on our New Orleans bucket list. See you then.
Ugh. You got something on your face. Oh, you can keep going.
You're
We're
good.
filming ourselves.
Tour was very unique to New Orleans. Oh, good.
I've played one too many Resident Evil games to know what happens next.